Let's dig into the subject of China's SEO reforms and speak to Professor Zhu Ning, Deputy Director at the Shanghai Advanced Institute of Finance from Jiao Tong University. Welcome to our show, Mr. Zhu. Now, mixed ownership, as we heard there from President Xi, the warning that we should avoid the risks of state capital getting into the hands of well-connected private investors. How do we do that?
Well, I think it is one of the biggest challenges that's facing privatization or the mixed ownership. I think there are a few things that one would have to keep in mind probably. One is one would have to keep the process open and fair. I mean, we should allow all competitors to go into the competition round so that they can make a bid for whatever ownership that they're trying to get. The second is there should be no glass ceiling or hidden barriers which would discriminate one side of the investor or the other. I guess one very important thing of this process is we would have to encourage or strengthen the enforcement of the law and regulation. There should be the law and regulation, but then there also should be a fair enforcement of the law against different parties of investors.
Yeah, and that's needed everywhere in the Chinese economy. Now, private investors also have worries about losing their investments or that the areas they're being allowed into are not that appealing. For example, if they're laden with debt or lots of older employees. Your thoughts?
Well, I think as the third plenum stated clearly, I think would really have to encourage the market force to play a greater role. I mean, whenever we have the market favoring something, then the price will go up and vice versa. So if there's some really attractive investment, I think more competitions will push up the price and vice versa. And we would not have to face a lack of interest because as long as the price is low enough, there should be enough attraction to some investors.
Okay, so using price to balance things out. Now, Sinopec has kicked reforms off, opening up its gas stations to private investors, as we just saw. Do you think we might see the telecom sector, which is very much state dominant, be next?
Well, I think it has heralded a very encouraging message, but at this moment, I think it is probably a little bit too early to make that prediction. I mean, even the gas station is not necessarily the most profitable or lucrative part of the Sinopec business either. So I think it is a very good trend, but we would have to wait for a little bit longer to see whether or how far this process or this reform will go into in the future.
Thank you so much, Professor Zhu Ning from Jiao Tong University, speaking to us about China's state-owned enterprises reforms.